Welcome back. So we're going to go through some reference material today. If you've been following the tutorials, this needs to go hand in hand with it, so you really need to look at the original stuff. The worst thing you can ever do when you're making a replica is make a replica of somebody's replica, because the issues there is if they've made a mistake, you're going to make the exact same mistake. So the best thing to do is always work from your source material. So obviously in this case for the Stormtrooper, we're going to be looking at the movie and any other shots that we can find, just so we can work out exactly what's going on and how we want our suit to be when we're doing our own build. So I'm going to take you through some of the photos that I've picked out which demonstrate some of the things, the key points that we're looking at. Obviously the overall gist of it is Stormtrooper, and you're never going to get that wrong. Really want to look at are the return edges and how stuff's trimmed, and also just to show you that the things I've shown you in the tutorial, I'll reinforce them by showing you where they are on screen and in production shots. So let's take a look at some pictures of some sexy Stormtroopers. Right, let's start with this one. Black and white arty shot. Stormtrooper firing a gun. Looks good. Got a nice hero helmet on this one. So the areas that I'm looking at here, the way the forearms are trimmed, as you can see in the bottom there, the cuff is cut clean off. You can see it clear as day. It's just cut straight off. There's no return edge whatsoever. This is what we were doing on our build. I'm enjoying seeing this little tooth as well on the hero helmet, but that's just another thing. So I want to concentrate on the arms and legs. So here we've got again it's a hero helmet on obviously the standard suit, but this is a really good image to show that misalignment on the bicep. And when we said we could deal with that, or when we're going to deal with that misalignment when we put the cover strips on, this is one example of how that is done and how they get away from the fact that it's misaligned. They've just basically cut the cover strip so that it kind of meets it. That's a good example. But we can see that the top of the thigh has been trimmed off so that it does line through. You can also see on the cuffs of the forearms that there's no return edge on there. Again, on the biceps here, we've got what the bicep ordinarily looks like when it's dressed on the Stormtrooper and it's up inside the shoulder bell. Then as we pull out, we can see that misalignment where this shoulder bell has dropped down. And then if we move along a little further, this one's quite a nice one. This is actually a screen grab, and we can clearly see that the actual bicep is totally split. The bicep is totally separated and the glue is unbonded, and we've got a clear line right down there. Looks a little bit like that may be a left bicep on a right arm as well. Just while we're on here, this is also quite a good one to see the top of that thigh, on the right thigh. You can see how they're all cut down nice and neat on these particular builds. Here we're looking at the two hero suits. So we've got Luke Skywalker, we can clearly see that with the cut down chest. And over here, if we have a look at Han's bicep, we can see that misalignment again on the back of the bicep, and it's just sticking way up there on the inner. And then if also point to note here is the way that the inner forearm does not line through with the outer forearm at all. It's cut really short. So this is just a nice photograph of the Stormtrooper. We've got a full stunt helmet here. We've got a nice, even though we're not talking about that today, we've got a really untrimmed shoulder bell that I can see there. One of the notable things on this photograph is the incorrect handguard on that left hand. What have we got here? What we're looking at here? This is a really good photo. Not only is it a nice photo of a Stormtrooper, it's a really good example of some of the things that we need to look at. So there we can see the misalignment on that forearm and how the cover strip is just taking up quite a bit of the slack there. So again, I mean, this is the movie, and you can see that the cover strip is cut short. So aside from the misalignment on that forearm, we've also got a really good indication of the damage that the chest has received there with the split and the gaffer tape over it, it looks like, and the split still coming through it. But then another thing I like about this photograph is the way that we can clearly see there's nothing behind the teeth on the helmet. As it's in profile there, we can see the light coming right through. Here we can see again the misalignment on the forearm and how the cover strip's trying to deal with it. This is hand suit again, it's clear as day. You can also see a little bit of return edge left. That is all that's on there. Okay, quite a famous scene from the movie, Stormtrooper banging his head. But this one really does show just how little was trimmed out of that shoulder belt. And what is left of it now is breaking away anyway, due to the amount that was left on there. Okay, anyone who's worn armour is going to understand that the Stormtroopers coming under the door can see absolutely nothing. But again, it clearly shows the misalignment on the forearm. Quite a nice picture from official pics here. Obviously Stormtroopers, we've got the variation on the helmets, hero and the stunt, you can see quite clearly. Notable things on this photograph. On the belt there is no cover over the rivet, which you can clearly see. Then also we've got tape around one of the drop boxes there, and I'm not sure what's going on with that holster, but I'm pretty sure that is actually Simon's belt. So here we've got some thighs, these original thighs from Lucasfilm Archive, and we're just looking at how they've been put together. You can see that at the bottom there, they weren't trimmed too good and they've actually been filled. This is the back of that thigh, so you can see how it curves around and then how it drops away. And again, you can see the big gap between the two pieces at the cover strip is where the cover strip is joining them. I mean, the glue that was used on these originals as well, you can see how that's distorted. And if you're concerned about your cover strips not being straight, I mean, just take a look at that. Here we have the right thigh. So this is quite a good shot. We can see how that misalignment at the top's been dealt with by just cutting the top clean off. And then further down, we can see where the two pieces meet behind the belt. I mean, the belt slipped down, it's given us a great chance to see it. And again, on the inside, you can see that return edge kind of comes round and then is just lost where that tip has been cut clean away. And again on this back edge. So if we compare them to the original that we cast from, see at this point the suit has been repaired and these rivets have been added to hold it on together, so don't pay too much attention to those. Fortunately from this angle you're not really seeing that raised bit, but you can see there's a lot more return edge left in there, and these are the shapes that we're looking for. Okay, and onto the arms. So this is the misalignment that we obviously observed in the tutorial. The way it's been dealt with on this particular one is just cut off to the shorter level, and you can see it again, and you can see just how much return edge is on there. Again, this misalignment here on the inside of it. So hopefully that reference is going to help you no end when you're building your own suit. We'll probably put all of these pictures in a album, stick it on our Facebook so that you can access it anytime you want. And that's the real deal. That's what you need to be looking at as opposed to replicas. Thanks for watching, and if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do. It helps if you leave a comment. It helps, picks up on the YouTube algorithms and shares us about, gets us out there, spreads a word about what the original Stormtrooper really is like.
The melody was formed by varying the repetition rate.